I will tend to the corners of your heart that the storm overlooked. In the hush before morning, I gather the fragments you hid beneath tired routines and brave smiles. You have not been abandoned to the weight you carried. I saw where the blows landed, where the breath shortened, where hope started to dim. Hear me now in a voice steady and near. I will use what tried to break you, not as a cruel memory, not as a chain to drag across future days, but as timber for the shelter you will live in, as seed for fields you will harvest, as vocabulary for a compassion that will not run out when someone else trembles. You wondered whether your story disqualified you, too messy, too late, too stained by detours. Yet I measure nothing the way fear measures. The places that ache are the places where my river will run deeper. I am not ashamed to walk through the rooms you closed off. I am not reluctant to light the hallway where your feet hesitated. Do not hide the broken pieces from me. Bring them as they are. Still sharp. Still warm from friction. Still humming with questions. I am the one who refashions what cannot be repaired by human hands. Where others saw ruins, I saw a beginning. Where you saw a verdict, I drafted a fresh decree of mercy. Where you saw a crossroad with no sign, I placed a quiet lantern inside you that will not go out. You did not imagine the force that rose against you. It arrived wearing familiar names, expectation, comparison, scarcity, and it learned the passwords to your attention. It spoke fluently in the language of hurry and shame. In its wake, your sleep thinned, your appetite for ordinary joy faded, and your world narrowed to the size of the next demand. But I was not far. I counted your steps when you could not count on tomorrow. I kept a record not of your failures, but of every small fidelity, each honest breath, each whispered prayer, each refusal to surrender dignity. Those were not wasted motions. They became threads I now weave into a covering that fits you exactly. Let me speak softly about the moment the ground gave way. You feared the drop would never end, that there was no floor, no handhold, no witness, yet you found yourself somehow carried. You woke and noticed you were not at the bottom but on a ledge carved by grace. This is how I work. I do not always still the wind before it reaches you, but I always place a mountain behind you that the wind cannot move. The very pressure that pushed against your ribs is now the pressure I will use to lift your lungs into praise. The very fire that tried to consume your faith now tempers it into a steel that can serve others. The very exile that made you feel nameless becomes the passport by which you enter rooms where the hurting wait for a translator of pain. Do you remember when you thought the path was linear and short, neatly paved with answers? Even then I loved you. Yet I chose a slower road, one with switchbacks and overlooks. One where your stride would match mine. Detours were not punishment, they were invitations to intimacy. You learned the scent of my nearness in valleys where applause could not reach. You learned to walk without bargaining, to cling without demanding, to sing without an audience. And now, with the quiet strength you did not know you were building, you will meet those who are walking toward their own precipice. You will not preach at them. You will sit beside them and name the cliff for what it is. And your presence will widen the trail. I am not using your wounds as an exhibit against you. I do not turn you into a museum of failure. I turn you into a greenhouse of unlikely growth. In this place, tenderness becomes strong enough to host joy without suspicion. Patience takes root. Courage flowers in colors you have not seen. The pruning you endured was not needless loss. I removed what drained you so that new life could have room to breathe. I moved certain plans outside because their shade kept your purpose from getting sunlight. I am the careful gardener who keeps what will feed you and clears what will starve you. Trust the cut, it is never random in my hands. There were words that entered you as storms. There were silences that felt heavier than accusation. There were rooms where you felt present and yet invisible. I sat with you in those rooms. I traced each syllable that pierced you and turned it into a doorway for wisdom. Now when you speak, your tone will carry a calm authority that does not need to win, only to bless. The humiliation that once bent your spine will become the humility that opens other people's cages. The rejection that braided itself into your identity will be unbraided strand by strand until you recognize the texture of belovedness again. You will not live guarded forever, you will live grounded. Let me tell you what I see when I look at your tomorrow. I see blueprints rolled across a table you thought was too small for any real construction. I see mentors and friends you haven't met, who will not be threatened by your growth. I see doors that resemble ordinary responsibilities but open into assignments that satisfy that hunger you could never name. I see the childlike wonder returning without naivety. I see you making decisions that protect innocence without worshiping safety. I see you putting away the costume of competence that kept you from asking for help. I see you receiving what you once felt obligated to refuse. You will leave behind certain rhythms that felt normal but were quietly stealing from you. You will learn the liturgy of enough. You will let your attention graze in green pastures instead of in the deserts of comparison. You will choose small, sustainable obediences over dramatic gestures that burn out the soul. You will practice truth in low light, and it will be bright enough for the next step. You will say no without apology and yes without resentment. You will allow laughter to live in the same house as tears. This is holiness that breathes. You thought resilience meant never bending. But trees that never bend eventually crack. I teach you a different strength, the kind that bows in storms and stands taller afterward. Flexibility is not faithlessness. Surrender is not surrendering your dignity. It is returning your entire self to the one who holds it. When you loosen your grip on outcomes, your hands become open enough to receive unexpected gifts. The patience you mistake for delay is the studio where I sculpt your future. The pauses are part of the music. Your timing does not embarrass me. It is the canvas upon which I paint redemption slowly enough to be seen. Come away for a moment and breathe with me. Lay down the armor that never fit you. Take off the labels that were never your size. If the room you are in requires you to shrink to stay, it is not yours. I have a table where your fullness is welcome. I set cups there with your name. And I pour living water until your thirst stops bargaining with mirages. Your worth is not negotiated by applause or diminished by misunderstanding. You are not a product, you are a person. Handcrafted and carried. Listen for the way I speak through what seemed useless. The cancelled plan that rescued you from a partnership that would have devoured your peace. The delayed answer that sheltered you until your character could carry the weight of the blessing. The closed door that redirected you to a gate you could actually walk through. I am not the inventor of harm, but I am the redeemer of outcomes. I will use what tried to break you and make it build you. I will turn the shock of betrayal into the steady wisdom that knows which voices to trust. I will turn the loneliness into an inner room where you and I meet without interruption. I will turn the exhaustion into Sabbath practices that outlast trends. What mocked you will not define you, it will tutor you in gentleness. And from that gentleness will rise a strength that does not frighten itself. You have asked me whether the dream is still alive. It is. But it no longer owns you, it serves you. A dream that serves you can be placed on the altar without fear. And I will return it purified. If it does not return, I will give you something better, something that does not require you to betray your soul to carry it. Desire is not your enemy. Disordered desire is. Watch me reorder your longings until they hum with peace. Watch me separate the longing to be seen from the longing to be useful. Watch me teach you the difference between success that isolates and fruitfulness that nourishes. I know the secret vows you made in the dark. I will never trust again. I will never forgive. I will never hope too loudly. Those vows kept you safe for a time, but they have become bars. Let me be the keeper who unlocks them. Forgiveness is not permission for harm to continue. It is release from carrying the harm as your name. Trust does not mean ignoring your wisdom. It means learning how to walk with wise boundaries. Hope does not put you at risk of humiliation. It places you at risk of miracles. Let's rewrite your inner agreements together. One truthful line after another. Until your inner court stops ruling against you. You wondered if you misheard me when the flood rose. You did not. You heard me. and you kept moving. The flood simply revealed the parts of your foundation that needed reinforcement. Now we pour concrete. Now we add steel. Now we build defiant joy into the walls. The next storm will still be a storm. But you will not be the same structure. You will not fear being unmade by what is loud. You will carry quiet as a shield. You will bless your enemies and be free of their rent in your mind. You will bless your friends without keeping score and be free of your own invisible invoices. Hear me say this without hurry. You're allowed to be new. You are allowed to stop performing older versions of yourself for audiences that no longer exist. You are allowed to grow differently than those who started with you. You are allowed to take the long road that keeps your soul intact. I am not rushing you. I am not scolding you for slowness. I am protecting the delicate work that rush would ruin. I set watches at the edges of your life. And they stand guard while you sleep. When shame wakes you at odd hours, invite me into that wakefulness. We will turn it into prayer instead of panic. When memory revisits with teeth, we will name it and defang it. When your body remembers harm, we will teach it safety through gentleness, through community, through rhythms that honor its wisdom. Your nervous system is not your adversary. It is the instrument on which I will play a calmer song. Together we will retune what the world detuned. Together we will choose kindness toward yourself until it becomes instinct rather than effort. Let your voice learn new cadences. Not every truth must be shouted to be strong. Not every boundary must be announced to be real. Some of your boldest choices will be quiet refusals. Some of your most radiant ministry will resemble making soup. Paying attention. Keeping promises. Do not despise the small. I pour myself into small. A cup of water given in peace weighs more in heaven than a stadium of performance given for fame. Your unnoticed faithfulness has never been unnoticed by me. I bless your creativity. The ideas that once stalled will find smooth air. The pages you tore up will teach you how to write the next ones. The canvas you hid behind the door will meet new light. The melody you hummed under your breath will meet a harmony you didn't know you had. I have placed in you both fire and restraint, both color and order, both zeal and patience. You will learn when to pour and when to pause. You will surround your craft with rest so that your offering carries the fragrance of heaven and not the fumes of burnout. Now let us talk about courage. Courage in you will not resemble recklessness. It will resemble obedience. It will resemble returning that message with grace instead of retaliation. It will resemble declining opportunities that would cost you your integrity. It will resemble telling the truth kindly and letting consequences unfold without manipulating them. It will resemble entering rooms where you once felt too small and refusing to shrink. It will resemble asking for help earlier than you think you deserve it. It will resemble choosing to remain teachable when affirmation arrives. I have placed people along your path who will accompany you into this next season. Some will carry maps. Others will carry bomb. Some will ask good questions. Others will simply sit with you when answers cannot yet be spoken. Bless them. Receive them. Do not disqualify yourself from their kindness. And I will also lead you to those who need what you carry, a steady gaze. A measured word. A presence that refuses to sensationalize pain. You will not fix them. You will walk with them. And walking with them will be a holy remedy. I am sanctifying your hunger for justice. It will no longer be fueled by rage that corrodes, but by love that endures. You will advocate without losing tenderness. You will stand firm without scorning. You will confront harm without becoming its echo. Your hands will learn how to build systems that bless. And your shoulders will learn how to carry responsibility without resentment. Authority in you will be married to service. And the weight of it will become a yoke that fits. There will be days when you feel the old ache returning. Do not panic. Waves return to beaches that remain secure. You will feel the pull of former scripts. And then you will remember. We rewrote them. When the old fear whispers its tired lines, answer with the truth we practiced in the daylight. When the old fatigue suggests you abandon tenderness, answer with the rest that now lives in your calendar. Consistency will be your quiet revolution. You will not make headlines. but you will make history in the hearts of those entrusted to you. I am not in a hurry to display you. I am eager to heal you. Yet as you heal, you will naturally shine. People will ask about the source of the light. Point them to me with a smile and without theatrics. Testimony in this season will sound as a conversation, not a performance. It will sound as, I survived that, and now I'm kinder. It will sound as, I lost that, and now I'm freer. It will sound as, I was wrong there, and now I'm learning. Let vulnerability be structured by wisdom and framed by boundaries. Let your yes be thoughtful and your no be peaceful. In the middle of this journey, pause here with me for a gentle breath. If this message rests well in your spirit and you want more moments of this kind, take a second, without rush, to support the work. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe so this piece can reach those who need it most. And then return your focus to the presence that is already near. Now breathe again. Feel the steadiness that meets you when attention returns to what matters. You are not a machine for outcomes. You are a child learning trust in a trustworthy home. I am that home. Build nothing that requires you to abandon yourself at the door. Build nothing that measures your worth in trophies. Build the kind of life that leaves room for quiet mornings, for unhurried conversation, for listening before speaking. The culture of my kingdom grows well in such soil. You have asked me how to forgive yourself for what you were not yet equipped to know. Here is my answer. Receive the lesson as a gift from your younger self. Bless the version of you that made the choice with limited sight. Thank them for surviving long enough to arrive here. Then, with me, choose differently now. This is not self-indulgence, it is stewardship. The mercy you extend to your own story will overflow into mercy toward others who are still learning how to see. Let us step into accountability. Not as a courtroom but as a garden. Invite trustworthy voices to speak into your patterns. Welcome correction as a trellis, not a cage. Name your temptations before they become habits. Repair quickly when you harm someone. Reconciliation keeps your heart agile. Create rituals that return you to truth, walking at sunset, journaling before bed, praying with scripture that anchors your identity. Over time, these ordinary practices will become a fortress you do not need to announce. There is a future moment approaching where you will face a familiar pressure with a different posture. Where you used to collapse, you will breathe. Where you used to lash out, you will bless. Where you used to hide, you will step forward one honest inch at a time. Not because you became superhuman, but because you became sincerely human, held, resourced, surrounded. This is victory that resembles peace rather than noise. I am healing your relationship with time. Regret will not sit in the driver's seat. Nostalgia will not become your theology. You will honor the past without trying to move back in. You will prepare for the future without abandoning the present. Your calendar will begin to tell the truth of your values. And your body will believe you. You will watch me multiply minutes into meaning as you follow the gentle prompts I place along your day. When you encounter beauty, let it work on you. Let the sunset repair what your arguments could not. Let a child's laugh uncoil what anxiety tightened. Let music rinse your attention. Let friendship steady your gait. These are not distractions from holy work, they are holy work. I saturate ordinary moments with sacrament so that your soul remembers joy is not a luxury for later, it is strength for now. You will notice a new tenderness toward the parts of you that once embarrassed you. The sensitive heart that overhears needs in a crowded room. The steady caution that asks careful questions before rushing in. The delight that finds poetry in rain on the window. These are not defects, they are instruments I tune for mercy. I will teach you when to guard them and when to offer them. In this, you will stop resenting your design and begin partnering with it. Expect reconciliations you thought impossible. Not all stories will be mended this side of eternity, but many will begin to thaw. Estranged voices will soften. Apologies will rise without coercion. Boundaries will be respected without bitterness. And where reconciliation is not safe, release will be granted without malice. I am the God who can restore what years devoured. Who can replace what locusts consumed? Who can make a feast from fragments? Nothing is too tangled for me to weave toward good. As you keep walking, you will also learn to celebrate others without shrinking. Their flourishing is not your famine. Their calling is not your competition. If envy tries to sit at your table, you will hand it a blessing and send it to find its own home. Generosity will lengthen your reach. Gratitude will brighten your sight. Joy will no longer be rationed, it will be baked into your days. There will be work to do, good work. Work that matches your design. Work that uses your voice in ways that heal. Your hands in ways that protect. Your mind in ways that clarify. You will be paid in money sometimes, but always in meaning. You will choose projects that do not require you to armor up daily. And you will step away from work that worships urgency. Excellence will remain, but perfectionism will retire. You will serve, and you will rest, and both will honor me. And when grief returns, as it does in this world, you will have new tools. You will have friends who can hold a silence without trying to fix it. You will have prayers that do not depend on eloquence. You will have rituals that allow tears to travel where words cannot. You will remember that resurrection does not cancel lament, it carries it. You will remember that hope is not a denial of sorrow, it is a companion through it. If you fear that you will forget these promises, write them in simple sentences where your eyes will meet them. I am loved. I am guided. I am not alone. I can begin again. I can ask for help. I can choose peace. Let them become the alphabet of your mornings. Let them become the punctuation of your nights. Soon your inner narrator will switch from accusation to blessing, and the story will feel honest again. Now take this blessing. May your scars be soft signs of wisdom rather than hard badges of war. May your boundaries be doors that open onto safe meadows. May your rest be long enough to let your body believe it is safe. May your work be light enough to carry joy alongside it. May your thoughts learn to stroll. May your heart learn to stay. I am here, nearer than breath, faithful beyond fluctuation, delighted to walk with you at a human pace. You are not behind. You are not late. You are being led. And as you continue, remember the truth at the center of all of this. I will use what tried to break you. I will turn it into the architecture of tenderness, the backbone of your calling, the rhythm of your peace. Keep your gaze with me. Keep your hands open. Keep your steps small and honest. We are going forward, together. Let your mornings begin with gentleness. Before the headlines shout, before the tasks gather at the edge of your attention, return to the quiet where I wait. Place your hand over your heart and notice that it continues. Steady and faithful. That rhythm is a hint of my constancy. From that constancy, you will move into the day with a grace that does not depend on everything going your way. You will forgive more quickly. You will remember to breathe before you answer. You will notice the person on the margins and treat them as family. This is how heaven enters ordinary hours, through choices that mirror my heart. When you feel the urge to hurry, test it. Ask whether urgency honors your purpose or merely imitates fear. Many of your best decisions will be born in unhurried spaces. Make room for them. Walk a little slower in the corridor, and you will overhear a need. Wait a few seconds before sending the message, and you will find a kinder sentence. Pause at the threshold of a meeting, and you will bring peace with you when you cross. These small acts are not trivial, they are architecture. They give shape to a life where I am welcomed rather than squeezed in. Your prayers do not need to be long to be true. Sincere words spoken from the middle of your day reach me as surely as elaborate speeches. Say, help. Say, thank you. Say, guide me. Then listen with the ear of your heart. I will respond through scripture that glows, through counsel from a friend, through the serenity that arrives without explanation. You will become a student of these responses. Over time, you will trust their cadence. You will rely on them when your feelings argue loudly. You will teach others this steady way because you have practiced it until it became muscle memory. Where shame once wrote captions under your actions, I will write new ones. You will no longer narrate your life as an endless correction. You will narrate it as a patient restoration. In this restoration, You will learn repair as a reflex. When words land poorly, you will seek the person and mend the thread. When your limits are reached, you will rest rather than perform resentment. When boundaries are needed, you will state them clearly and kindly. This is spiritual maturity that fits your frame. Consider generosity that flows from freedom rather than from pressure. Give because you are resourced, not to buy approval. Serve because you are called, not because you fear abandonment. When giving flows from fullness, it multiplies rather than drains. You will seed communities of trust through such giving. People will breathe easier around you because they can tell your yes is honest and your no is peaceful. This is how I heal groups, through one person who refuses to trade authenticity for applause. You will relearn celebration, not the loudness that drowns out sorrow, but the kind that dances with it. You will give thanks for progress that others cannot see yet. You will bless the day that contains both difficulty and delight, recognizing that I inhabit both. You will step outside at dusk and let the sky tutor you in wonder. You will eat slowly with those you love and let conversation meander. You will bless departures as well as arrivals, trusting that I travel with those who go and those who stay. Let your home become a sanctuary where rest is not earned but received. Set the table with presents. Place forgiveness in the cupboards where grudges once lived. Keep open spaces in your schedule the way you keep open chairs in your living room. Welcome the stranger within your own heart, the parts of you that have been waiting for hospitality. When you learn to host yourself with warmth, you will host others with wisdom. The atmosphere will change, and those who enter will exhale. I am rewriting your relationship with strength. Strength is not the absence of tenderness, it is tenderness with a backbone. Strength does not ignore tears, it escorts them toward healing. Strength does not dominate, it dignifies. In you, strength will be measured by steadiness, by your refusal to abandon peace when provoked, by your choice to return blessing for contempt. This is not weakness, it is clarity. It is the power that raised the world from despair, working now through your ordinary choices. When you step into places that once terrified you, remember our rehearsals in the quiet. Remember the steady sentences we practiced. Remember the breath that returns you to center. Let your feet learn routes to peace so well that they can find them in the dark. These inner maps will serve you when external maps fail. They will lead you to respond rather than react, to create rather than copy, to bless rather than broadcast harm. I will open opportunities that do not punish your soul. Some invitations will dazzle yet demand that you abandon core truths. You will decline and sleep well. Other invitations will appear modest yet carry rich purpose. You will accept and find your heart enlarge. Discernment in this season will depend on listening more than looking. Ask, does this align with who I am becoming? Ask, can this be carried without betraying my health or my home? As you honor these questions, you will discover doors that fit their frames and paths that fit your stride. Guard your joy the way a city guards its wells. Refuse cynicism that calls itself realism while poisoning the groundwater. Refuse flattery that masquerades as support while tilting your aim. Refuse distractions that scatter your focus into fragments. Instead, draw from sources that keep you clear, scripture that steadies, friendships that tell the truth, work that contributes to human flourishing. Drink deeply and often, then offer cups to others with open hands. Finally, receive this sealing assurance. I have not wasted a single mile. I have tracked every step, gathered every tear, and invested every lesson into the future we are building. The pressure that once threatened to crush you now prepares you to carry peace into rooms where peace has been a stranger. The fire that once frightened you now warms those who sit near your story. The night that once intimidated you now teaches you to read the stars. And through it all, I remain your faithful guide. Walk forward, walk gently, walk in hope that does not disappoint. My promise stands. I will use what tried to break you, and together we will turn it into a life that blesses beyond counting.